Okay, welcome back. So for today, ang pag-aaralan natin will be human origins. This is the 4th module sa Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics. So pag-aaralan natin ang biological and cultural evolution ng tao. So napag-aralan na natin in the previous modules yung konsepto ng evolution, both cultural and biological, but for now, we are going to go in detail, okay? So dito na yung part na kung saan tayo ay mag-aaral ng evolution of man, starting sa mga hominids hanggang sa modern humans. Okay, so we're going to talk about today evolution, both biological and cultural. So as we have mentioned earlier, ang tao nagbabago yan, not only biologically speaking, but also culturally. But before we go to the cultural evolution, we have to consider first the biological changes. So dyan po mapasok yung konsepto ng evolution of man, okay? And here, naiisip natin isa sa mga considered na big names sa evolution. We have Charles Darwin. He is the author of On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. It was published in 1859. And he was the person behind the concept of natural selection, na ito yung reason daw kung bakit nagkakaroon ng evolution. Na ang natitira, based on him, ang nagsusurvive is yung pinakamalakas at ang pinaka-fit. Okay? It's the survival of the fittest. Sa kanya nanggagaling yun. Okay? So, let's go to the evolution of man. Okay? So, habang dinidiscuss natin, pwede natin isipin, hala, pasok ba ako sa modern humans? O, syempre, oo. Pero tingnan natin yung mga characteristics ng bawat species bago nagkaroon ng modern human. Okay? Let's start. So, ang title nito ay Hominids to Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay? So, before nagkaroon ng tao na katulad natin, it all started with the hominids. Okay? The hominids is the general term used by scientists na nagka-categorize sa mga early humans and other human-like creatures na kaya nang tumayo, okay, or can walk erect during the prehistoric times. Oo. So, sino yung mga to? These include Sahelanthropus, Ardipithecus, and Australopithecus, and the Homo. So, 4 sila. Ulitin ko, Sahelanthropus, Ardipithecus, Australopithecus, and Homo. Okay? So, mako-consider natin na ang Australopithecus ang first stage of human evolution, and Homo as the last. So, yung mga before nun, mga hominids. Okay? They're not really humans, but they are human-like creatures. Okay? So, these are still important because yeah, this is where things started. So, primarily, masasabi natin na si Sahelanthropus and Australopithecus as well as Ardipithecus, meron silang both ape-like and human-like characteristics. Pero compared kay Homo, si Homo, biologically and culturally, modern human na siya. Okay? So, medyo mahirap i-pronounce, no? But that's just okay. But we are going to continue studying this. Okay? So, let's start with Sahelanthropus. Okay? So, we have the Sahelanthropus. Sahelanthropus are species that existed 6 to 7 million years ago. So, ang Sahelanthropus ay tinatawag ding Sahelanthropus chadensis species. Okay? Yung skull nila, similar to the Australopithecus and modern human. Yung height nila, ang height nila almost the same with the chimpanzee. Okay? So, medyo maliit talaga. And their brain size is about 320 to 380 cubic centimeters. Okay? Ang modern human kasi nasa 1,500 cubic centimeters ang brain size. So, makikita natin difference. They're relatively smaller and we could consider dahil maliit lang talaga yung height nila. Okay? They have small teeth similar to other hominids and they could walk upright. Okay? So, ang after ng Sahelanthropus chadensis, pumasok ang mga Ororhyntogenensis. Okay? Ororhyn, don't worry, hindi ko kayo nilalagyan ng spell or kung ano. These are names of the species, specifically the hominids. Okay? Ororhyntogenensis existed 5. Okay, so after ng Sahelanthropus chadensis, okay, papasok dyan si Ororhyntogenensis at saka si Ardipithecus family. So, merong dalawang species ang Ardipithecus family. So, you have the Ardipithecus cadaba and the Ardipithecus ramidus. So, si Ardipithecus cadaba existed 5.6 million years ago. Okay? Si ramidus naman, Ardipithecus ramidus, they existed about 4.4 million years ago. So, ang ibig sabihin ng Ardipithecus, my dear learners, it's ape on the ground, okay? Ang ramidus naman, on the other hand, would mean root, okay? R-O-O-T, root. So, ano nga ba ang itsura or characteristic ng isang Ardipithecus? So, first, ang height niya is about 4 feet, okay? And then, ang weight niya is nasa 120 pounds, okay? So, nakikita natin na medyo lumalaki na siya. And then, the skull size is similar to an ape. It has a small brain. And it's biped already. So, ano ibig sabihin natin sa biped? Ang biped ay isang creature or pwede ring human-like creature na nakakapaglakad na on 2 legs or feet. Kasi before, we could consider the ape-like creatures before to walk on 4s. Pero ang biped, naglalakad na siya on 2 feet. And they lived in jungles and forests like chimpanzees. Okay? So, Australopithecus or the southern ape was the next group of the hominids, okay? Nanirahan sila sa African jungle from about 5 million to 1 million years ago. So, ito yung mga characteristics pa nila. So, after natin sa Ardipithecus, pupunta tayo sa Australopithecus. So, baka nahihilo na tayo. Let's go back. We started with the Sahelanthropus chidensis, and then we went to the Ardipithecus, okay, or the ape on the ground, and now we're moving to Australopithecus or the southern ape, okay? So, ang southern ape, yun nga, nag-evolve na rin, nag-change na, okay? May brain size siya ng 500 cubic centimeters. It's already 1/3 of the modern human brain, okay? Nakapaglakad na siya upright. He is also biped. That means he's walking on 2 feet. And then, they are tool users, okay? But not tool makers. So, kung may nakita silang mga gamit, potentially na tools, ginagamit nila, but they cannot create their own tools yet, okay? Next to this one is that they used sticks and stones for digging, okay? So, they lived in small social groups, and there was distance of movement, okay? As they search for stones to be used as tools. Yun nga, bumabalik tayo sa konsepto na they search because they are not actually the one who are creating it. And then, they are also food scavengers, and they eat insects, plants, fruits, and even sometimes meat, okay? So, ang Australopithecus, may types din yan, okay? May 6 species ang Australopithecus. Handa namang makinig sa mga pangalan. So, definitely there are 2 major types. We have the Gracile and the robust, okay? Ang Gracile Australopithecine, sila yung may small teeth and jaw, okay? Kung napansin natin yung mga naunang human-like creatures, okay? They have bigger jaws, diba? So, ito naman sa Australopithecine, Gracile Australopithecine, may small teeth siya tsaka jaw. So, referring to the subgroup na mas maliit ang feature, okay? So, under this group is the Australopithecus anamensis, Australopithecus afarensis, and Australopithecus africanus. Okay? So, tatlo sila. You have Australopithecus anamensis, Australopithecus afarensis, and Australopithecus africanus. Okay? Sa robust naman, so from the sound itself, mas malaki, okay? So, the robust group, it includes Australopithecus aethiopicus, Australopithecus robustus, and Australopithecus boisei. Okay? So, itong uri ng Australopithecus species na to, larger ang teeth and jaws, and they're highly muscular, especially for the Australopithecus boisei. Okay? So, na-imagine natin na si Gracile Australopithecine, sila yung smaller, okay? And the bigger ones are the Australopithecus robustus, okay? So, ayan yung grupo ni Gracile at saka ni robust, okay? So, matatandaan natin na there is a very, we could remember Lucy, it was even some point it could be related with the Lucy film, okay? So itong si Lucy is a 3.2 million year old Australopithecus floresiensis. So ibig sabihin mas maliit siya. So Lucy is considered as one modern human's earliest ancestor, and na-discover nga ang remains niya sa Hadar, Ethiopia by Donald Johansson in November 1974. Ang siste, kaya tinawag siyang Lucy kasi while they were digging up, they were listening to the Beatles' Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Kaya tinawag siyang Lucy. Okay? So, ayan. Nakikita na natin yung movement, okay? Na from small, okay? Tumatangkad. Okay? So, now, let's go to the next category, which is the Homo. Okay, the Homo first lived in Africa, and they were bipedal na. Again, walking on their feet. And then, it should also consider that the Homo included Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and Homo sapiens. And there are also details in between. Okay? So, let's talk about Homo habilis. So, Homo habilis are practically species that are also considered as handyman. Okay? Homo habilis are species with a brain, with the area that is already associated with speech in modern humans. And they can already make stone tools. So if we could remember the earlier species, which is the Australopithecus, sila users lang. But this one, the Homo habilis, they make their own stone tools already. Okay? They have the ability to make and use tools in a unique quality to humans, such that the species are considered to be the first true human. Okay? The species name means handyman, and they lived about 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago. They were scavenging for food. Okay? Their height is about 3 to 4 feet, okay? And their brain size is already half the size of the modern human. So, nasa 700 cubic centimeters na siya. And they made tools called Oldowan, okay? Oldowan came from the place where these tools were found, which is in Olduvai, George, Tanzania, okay? These tools were used in cutting and made from volcanic stones. So, ano siya? Medyo nasa basaltic rocks, okay? So, they also used these tools for hunting and food gathering, okay? So, next is, we also have the Homo ergaster. These are the in-betweens na. Homo ergaster existed 1.8 million years ago. Ito yung next Homo species to flourish, okay? Dito daw galing ang Homo erectus, okay? So, we also have another species in between, which is Homo rudolfensis. This species were characterized by a longer face, large molar and premolar teeth. So, na-imagine natin mas malaki yung ngipin, and a larger brain case compared to the habilis, okay? So, particularly larger frontal lobes and areas of the brain that processes information. So, nakikita na natin na nagbabago na yung brain at lumalaki na nga siya. So, after ni ergaster at saka ni rudolfensis, we already have Homo erectus, okay? So, si Homo erectus, coming from the word erectus, the species name means upright man with the body proportions already similar to that of modern humans. They lived about 1.89 to 143,000 years ago. They adapted to hot climates, and they mostly spread already sa Africa at sa Asia. Okay? Their brain size was about 1,000 cc, or about 2/3 na ng modern human size. Okay? So, they could already walk upright, and then their height is about 5 feet. So, papasok na talaga siya sa modern human. Okay? They were the first hunters that improvised tools such as axes and knives. Okay? And they were also the first people, or not really people, the first species to introduce fire. Ang laki po ng effect ng paggamit ng fire po kasi sa atin. At some point, it made chewing easier, kaya nga hindi na natin kailangan yung sobrang laking jaws, kasi nga napapalambot na ng fire, okay? So, imagine kung wala pa pong fire, our build more likely could be still how we looked, okay? How the earlier humans looked like. Pero dahil nga po mas madali ng pagmuya, we don't need those. We don't need bigger teeth anymore, okay? So, another is Another thing about Homo erectus is that they are believed to be more intelligent and more adaptable compared sa mga Homo habilis. Okay? Nagkaroon na sila ng cultural evolution. Okay? They began to invent, okay, things using different technologies. So, meron na silang iba't ibang tools na ginagamit nila for digging, for cutting, for scraping. Okay? Meron din silang mga axe tools, yung nabanggit nga, that they use for chopping, digging, slicing. Okay? So, they are also skillful hunters. Okay? It should also be underscored that they also used, they introduced the fire na, the use of fire, diba? This allowed them to cook meat and also to protect themselves from wild animals. Okay? So, it is also through the Homo erectus that they're the first Homo to be considered to use the spoken language. Okay? So, nandun na exchange of ideas, planning of cooperative hunting. Okay? And then, they also had these different activities already. Okay? So, sila daw ang first Homo na nakaalis sa Africa. Okay? So, with that, there's the first fossil found na galing sa species ng Homo erectus. It was found in the Longgupo Cave in China. They lived about 1.9 million years ago. Okay? Isang proof pa that they existed is that they found a fossil in Trinidad, Java, Indonesia by Eugene Du Bois, a Dutch anatomist and geologist. So, ito yung tinatawag nating Java man. Okay? Na nag-exist ng 1.8 million years ago. Meron pang isa na nahanap 1920 na Homo erectus skull sa Zhoukoudian, China. It is also known as the Peking man, which lived about 1.1 to 1 million years ago. So, ayun. Napaka-interesting. Malaki na yung change ng Homo erectus in terms of intellectual, physical, cultural, okay, na evolution. So, let's move on. Okay, so we have two species before we move on to the major species after ng Homo erectus. We have Homo heidelbergensis and Homo floresiensis. Okay? So, for Homo heidelbergensis, sila yung species with large brow ridge and short white bodies who lived about 700,000 to 200,000 years ago in Europe and Africa. Sila yung first humans to live in a colder climate and the first to hunt large animals in routine using spears. Okay? They were the first ones to construct human shelter. Next to them is Homo floresiensis. Okay? So, their species nicknamed Hobbit. Kasi alam natin, the Hobbit. Okay? They have small stature with a height of more or less 3 feet. And they lived about 95,000 to 17,000 years ago sa isang island ng Flores, Indonesia. Along with the other dwarfed animal species. Okay? So, ayan. Afterwards, kung meron tayong dalawa in between, that means we get to the next species, which is considered to be a major development sa evolution of man. So, we have Homo sapiens. Okay? Homo sapiens, the species name means the wise man. Okay? That appeared about 200,000 years ago. This is where the present human race belong. Okay? So, sa Homo sapiens or the thinking man or wise man, okay? Meron tayong, yun nga, nakapasok din dito si Homo heidelbergensis. Also, Homo neanderthalensis and Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay? Yung physical anatomy natin and their physical anatomy are really the same. Okay? Almost the same. And then, here are the characteristics of Homo sapiens. So, first, they have large brain size, 1,400 cc. That is almost similar na to the modern humans brain size. Okay? They lived in shelters, they're food gatherers, they ate plants and fruits, naghunt din sila ng animals, marunong sila mag-gather at saka mag-cook ng shellfish, which was about 164 years ago. Okay? 164,000 years ago. They used fire and they crafted metals already. Okay? So, kumbaga sophisticated na and very smoothened na yung mga tools na ginagamit nila during that time, and they have the technology already in fishing. They have the arrows, the harpoons, the sewing needles, etc. Okay? So, ito, masasabi na natin na talagang nag-progress na, okay? Ito na tayo papunta na talaga tayo dito, okay? So, we have also the Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, as what I've mentioned earlier. These species are short yet stocky in body build. They adapted to winter climates, especially in icy cold places in Europe and in Asia. The subspecies, also known as Neanderthal man, is also the closest relative of modern humans. They were the first one to have the practice of burial of the dead, hunting and gathering of food, sewing of clothes. Nabanggit natin, meron na silang konsepto ng pananahe from animal skin using bone needles. They lived about 200,000 to 28,000 years ago. Okay? And then, of course, mawawala ba naman, Homo sapiens sapiens, may subspecies known as Cro-magnon, okay? So, characterized to be anatomically modern humans and lived in the last ice age of Europe from 40,000 to 10,000 years ago. They were the first to produce art of about 1,400 cubic centimeters, okay? So, mga Cro-magnon, ito na yung last na part, and then we have the modern humans already, okay? So, with that, so after that, what we could expect would already be the modern humans. So, nakita natin yung development, nakita natin yung pagbabago. So, it started with the hominids, and then now we have us. Okay, so that's it for the biological evolution or the evolution of man. Credits to the owners of the pictures that I used, to the authors of the books or the references that I used for understanding culture, society, and politics, and to the writers of the module. That's it po. Thank you.